States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call.
I think we lost it.
Trying to get video up, I think.
Roll call. Mayor Rader,
Present.
Brandon Carrico,
Here.
Danny Clark,
Present.
Dana Strange,
Here.
Mark McAtee,
He's
on
on video present, yeah.
Attorney Stephen Tebow,
Present.
Clerk Treasurer Lori Carrico, present.
Get approval for last month's minutes.
Make a motion.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, old business, water tank project recommendations. Trey, you got anything on that?
Our recommendation would be to go with L&T Ames. They're the lowest responsive bidder on that project.
L&T,
L&T,
where they out of, you know,
Michigan.
Michigan? What would be the proposed start date on that?
Need to hold it for at least 90 days. We can go ahead and make the award.
Yeah, that's what I was getting ready to do, so get a motion to award the, contract for both water tanks, towers to, L&T to, do the work.
I'll make a motion. I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Since you got somebody here electronically, so you want to just call everyone's name off and then have them declare how they vote?
Brandon Carrico,
I make the motion. I'll make the motion.
Yeah, you gotta say aye.
Aye.
Danny Clark,
Aye.
Mark McAtee. Dana Strange,
Yes.
Mayor Rader.
SCADA system with wastewater treatment, we're gonna hold off that for next month when Bo gets back. We're not gonna ignore that. All right. Fire department on the SCBA. Chief?
Everybody should have the quote that was sent in from McQueen. You guys have all that? From my understanding, it was, you guys were for it, but we're just trying to figure out where the money's coming from, correct? Okay, probably next one.
Council will decide where it comes from.
Okay, so, yeah, we're looking at, Mike, come out here.
Yeah, we're doing 26 units
Okay,
with 30 face pieces, so to outfit the entire department. Mike Foley with McQueen, by the way, I think I met with you last time. And our last meeting, we were holding these, we have them in stock. And then today we're gonna hold them until, looks like the 12th, for you guys to make a decision after you move forward. And then we have to kind of release them back into our inventory. So that was the kind of status of why we're here today.
and that was one rip pack as well, right?
Let's see here.
I think down here.
Yep, one red back, correct.
Okay. And that was double bottles, right?
Yes,
42
so,
bottles?
yep. Double bottles with 30 case pieces, charging station with extra batteries, one RIT with a 60-minute cylinder, and that includes flow testing, fit testing, shipping and handling, and couplers.
Okay. And you say the total there on the third page?
$249,909.73.
And then we'll be in compliance for 15 years on it?
Correct.
So we can start planning then after this and have a program to start replacing within 15 years.
So for us, you're just wanting either a yes or no, and then the council does the funding, where it comes from, that kind of stuff.
Correct me if I'm wrong, as long as your the packs flow test. And
Correct.
they're good.
Yep.
It's the bottles and stuff too now that we're gonna.
Exactly, yeah, as
Yeah.
long as they're testing above standard, you can use them for as long as you want and they're in service. Now, how you wanna replace them, periodically through a 5 or 7 year system is up to you guys.
And it's, the bottles are every 5 years?
Correct.
Okay.
Yep.
So then at 15, basically we're done.
Correct,
So
yeah.
basically, they're already gonna come hydro, so
Yep.
that'll be the first
Yep.
year, then we'll have 2 more times and then.
Exactly, and then we'll set up a preventative maintenance program that we have through our service department, they'll go
Okay.
through whatever, once or twice a year, and do whatever type of fit flow testing and hydro testing you guys need.
I think last time we were going with this one because it was cheaper until the tariffs kick in, and then, so
Correct.
this isn't
Yeah,
stock stuff,
because
that's why
we
we're trying to
have-
go with this?
Yes,
Okay.
Yeah, the ones we have now are basically, they're awesome.
Yeah.
Getting masks for them are crazy, so that's why we do this. I mean, these packs should pass, but the problem is the bottles and everything, integration and all that with the mask
Yeah.
won't work. So that's why we had to go with everything new. And these are newer,
Yep.
updated, so as long as they pass the hydro, the only thing we have to worry about is bottles.
Do you know what the increases are gonna be when you start doing the new production stuff?
yeah, so we would, because we held the product that we have, that basically extended our inventory, and then we'd have to go out and purchase new packs to put
You
them
don't
back
know
in the
what
market.
Yeah.
It's about $274, so an increase of about $24,000.
Okay.
We wanna make a motion to move forward on these.
I'll make a motion.
Dana? And let Mark second, all in favor?
Aye. We'll call it.
Now do a roll call again.
Brandon Carrico,
Aye.
Dan Clark,
Aye.
Dennis Strange,
Aye.
Mark McAtee. Mayor Brian Nader.
Aye.
We're only doing this because you don't have a voice.
Exactly.
We'll take that to the council, they'll figure out how they wanna pay for it. Which direction to go. I'm gonna back up a minute on the LT on the water tanks. Came in for both tanks, $627,000.
Have they worked for us before?
Yes.
I thought they did.
Well, Midwest, I don't know about that.
No, not LT. Originally, we thought they was gonna come in close to $1 million. Yeah, so we came in under, so that's gonna help us, hopefully take care of a few other things. We got to get the bids in on the booster station still. 2 boosters, so that's coming in. I wanna get that price out to everybody. Okay.
And keep in mind, the highest bid was $1,394,000, so
Yes.
it's significantly cheaper than that.
Yes. Had 10 bidders, that's a lot, so some of them were hungry. The next, under new business, high grass. Justin, let's run through the, procedure on this.
So I know a lot of people are very unfamiliar with how this works. Now, we are talking about high grass, but this counts for junk, trash, in people's yards, abandoned vehicles. It's the same process for this. So the complaint comes in, I will then go check the property, take a photo, confirm they are in violation. Grass is a foot tall, it's in violation. Then what I do is I research who owns the property. Majority of the properties that have these complaints are landlord. They don't actually live there. So once I track down where the actual owner lives, we send them a certified letter. Then once they sign for that letter, they have 10 days to comply with the ordinance. If they do not, it's a $250 fine. And then what we do is we have the Board of Works approve contractors to go and address the issue. If it's cutting the grass, hauling off trash, whatever it may be, we take the lowest bid. Now, where the problem lies is when they get the certified letter, they have to sign for it. That's when my timestamp starts. I can't just go, you know what, you got tall grass, let's just go cut it and bill you. So, once that timestamp starts, now they have 7 days to call me to ask for an extension, you know, financial hardships, we get it. We're not here to cause anyone problems, but we'll give them the extension, we'll work with them, get it in compliance. The problem I'm having, reason why I'm gonna bring this up to the Board of Works and the attorney, is when they don't sign for it, the post office attempts 3 times, like for instance, this one here. So you get a letter like this and you sign for it, and that's when the timestamp starts for me, for you to be in compliance. When they don't sign for it, it gets sent back to me. The post office attempts a minimum of 3 times. Like this one here was on the 13th, 19th, and 29th. It gets sent back to me. Well, my time still doesn't start. So what do I do, right? So last year, what we would do was then we have to hire a Martin County Sheriff's Department, I think it's $35 or whatever it is, for a sheriff to go and serve them. Well, if they're not gonna answer the post office person, why are we gonna answer the door to a sheriff? Because they know what this letter means. They know that they're gonna have an issue. And like I said, majority of them are, you know, rental properties. But with that being said, is there a chance we can have the ordinance changed to where after the post office attempts that 3 times? Because these are the same people I deal with every year, and I know that some of these people are familiar with those. Is there a way that we can just then go ahead and start playing ball and going from there? Because it's so much time.
I understand. Tell you what, let me do some research into it. I can also see what maybe some other municipalities have done, see how they deal with it. So we've not had any luck with service by sheriff anymore.
Not in the past, no. And it's just more money we're putting out. So the other thing to that is back to the whole us bidding out. So get 3 contracts come in to cut this grass. I know that we've been short with the city. It'd be better if the city could come in and just go and mow that grass if they're not compliant. To save us from having to pay a company $200, $300 to cut the grass, and then I have to wait for the bids, because you know, you're talking more time, wait for those bids to come in. Then I have to schedule with them on their schedule, and it just stands out. We're about 30 days in now, and that grass is only getting taller. So that's where the problem lies. And then you get, I mean, you guys living next to it, that's frustrating. But we have to go by our ordinance and go from a procedure that I feel is lacking. Now, granted, I did talk to the postmaster locally. Some of the issues currently is because the post office isn't open. Because some of these people only have lists as a P.O. box. And they have to get access during certain times. But typically, it's still the same issue. If they know it's coming, they ain't signing for it.
They're still getting your mail.
Right. So,
So what are we gonna do is have a flat fee, $250 for our employees?
well,
to do that?
it's $50 a day for 5 days, max $250. That's why you actually only have 5 days to get it cut from the day
Yeah,
that
but we
last.
send our employees there,
Mhm.
we send 4 guys there.
So you get to charge. So like Washington, I had their old ones pulled up. You know, you get to, if you have to use a trailer to haul the equipment there, you get to charge for the trailer. You charge for a weed eater. You charge for a lawnmower. And it's $50 an hour to do the job. So you get to charge for all that. The city does, right? And then once we bill them, and if they don't pay it within 30 days, that's with any of this, we put a lien on their property. There's multiple properties in town that we do have liens on. They may only be a $500 lien, but that's the process. We did get some of our liens paid back, but then it's a calendar year before that person can actually take ownership of that property and then keep it in compliance. Because we have one over here on John Street. I've got 2 liens on. The lien's been paid for, but that person can't touch that property until after the calendar year is up. And then they are going to keep it compliant. But if the city was to, i.e. cut the grass or whatever, we're not paying up that initial, right? We still get the bill, but the time is much quicker to get our guys scheduled, go in there and do it. We bill them, 30 days goes by, they don't pay it, we put the lien, we move on, right? It would just be a much quicker process, but process we really need help at is getting it done if they don't sign for it. So if there's something we can do to speed up that process.
And we'd have to check on that, having our own employees do it, because they are so covered up the way.
No, I know, and that's a burden, I get that. But I know we're gonna have seasonal
Plus, we have
help.
government employees on private property, and that's gonna be a problem. Especially if something happens. I got hurt or something.
Liability, which a lot of people concerned about.
So like I said, my main concern is after they refuse to sign after the third attempt, when can we play ball soon?
Well,
So if you look into that. that'd
I
be-
will look into it. I mean, you've got some due process considerations
Yeah,
in there as
right.
well.
Right, and
So, but
that's.
there may be different angles that we can attack the problem
Right,
from.
and like I have one of the properties that both owners listed are deceased. But I was able to track down the law firm that dealt with the property, and they have the letter, and they said they will try to get it resolved. But there's some issues where just trying to track the people who actually own it down.
I know.
If we can figure out something better for that.
Okay.
But that counts for the trash, the grass, the junk, abandoned vehicles, which some of those I get with LPD, because they'll have to run the van, check it all, and they can put the 72-hour sticker on it or whatever it is, so. But that's the process. I know it's not quick enough, I get it. You know, it feels like we're neglecting it, we're not. We know it, we see the same grass you're seeing, we see the same junk. You gotta see, for instance, there was, right before I left for vacation, the total number of letters sent was, I think it was 22 ordinance violation letters. So, that's a lot. But our process, I have to get them to be notified in order to play ball. And that's where I'm struggling, is getting them to sign for it when my time starts. After they sign for it, they don't comply, then they're already in violation of ordinance, and then I get to proceed with Board of Works approval of hiring this contractor to clean it up.
All right, thank you.
Anybody have any questions? Because I know it's probably a lot, I just rattled through there.
Does this ordinance apply to Big John's?
So businesses are under a different one, so long as theirs, as on the Taylor property. Technically, I believe his side yard needs to be fenced in, and I have discussed with him, I know he has plans. So that side yard with the random cars, that's supposed to be fenced in. So I'm still working with John on that one.
Is
But
that
yeah.
non-visible fenced in or just?
No, it can be, chain link's fine. But it would be nice but since it's a business, it's different, because, you know.
On the west side there, along Southeast First Street, Northeast, I know he's looking at, into doing a wrap on that fence, like they did out the pickleball courts and stuff.
Oh, that's- okay.
He's looking at
So,
blocking
yeah,
all that stuff
that'd
off.
be nice.
Yeah.
He
Especially
called-
during
he
the
called me
summer
on
fest,
that.
it would be nice to block that.
He asked me, sent me a message on that a week and a half ago, so I got
Okay.
him with who he needs to get with, so he's
Okay.
checking in all that.
Good. So yeah, that is the process, but yeah.
All right.
The businesses are held a little bit different, so. Go ahead, John.
Does that apply to city property too?
Which part?
The industrial park hasn't been mowed. The weeds are way up.
Yeah, I'll send them.
You're around the business down there. You got mice, snakes,
Where's this at?
down by the Humane Society. All that area has not been mowed.
Oh, the one where we're selling the property?
Yeah,
to?
well, you still own part of the property
Right.
behind it hasn't been mowed.
Brian, I didn't know about it. I'll send you a letter.
Okay.
You better sign for it. That's all I got to say.
Yeah, excuse me.
Yeah, I know.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, Don.
Next on the agenda, is GPS. It's actually supposed to be for all vehicles, not just police vehicles. I think it's a good safety issue that, you know, so you know where things are at in case something happens. I know a couple of years ago, we had one of our employees that fell out at the water plant and they wouldn't do about it for a while. If you're in an area longer than what you normally are, you know. So I'd like to see us look into getting some GPS for all the vehicles.
So we're just doing an investigation right now, some information.
Yeah, I'd like to
Gathering.
get prices on it.
Okay.
Next item is upgrading the cameras. You guys got some bid price in front of you, council got to make a decision on whether we do it or not, but it's, the pool, the park, city hall, They're gonna have it down there too, yes. That was on a separate thing.
It's on its original bid, right?
I'm sorry?
The security for that was on the original bid, right?
Uh, no, it's $2,500 for down there, and that is, we're gonna set a pole up by the railroad tracks within our property line. Could not get anything into where the actual structure is at, so, it'll be a temporary pole. And where we're going with this is that we're gonna go back and look at putting restrooms down there. And when the restrooms get put in, then all that will get transferred into the restrooms, on the side of the building.
They won't need the pole then.
Won't need the pole in now. But right now, we got the, RTC's got the free internet, or Wi-Fi down there. Will be put at the same time, and that's gonna go on this pole as well. So, because they literally cannot get the Wi-Fi in there. We've got it out in City Park, part of it was getting this done too, but cannot get it in, it's too busy. So the only way is to go down there, then we can transfer it back over after that. So, but this is the price we got out to upgrade all the cameras and add a few to the back side of the street department there. There's nothing back there. We've got places that are not, totally visible. It's $25,303.91.
Where's this gonna be monitored from? It's got the
Police
monitor.
department.
Okay.
And you'll have a monitor, there'll be a monitor out at the pool like it is now. There's one out there that they can look to. And the other thing on this is, I didn't know this, but we were, at one time, we had the school system was monitoring our halls as well. And that's gonna come back. I talked to the superintendent and, talked to Dr. Harmon and Shelley Christmas about this. They want us to have that access, that capability again, because I want to clarify that with them, and they said, yes, most definitely. So, I'd like to give a recommendation to move forward on this, take it to the council.
How many bids you get this one?
Yeah.
One.
This company here does everything for the city of Washington. They're just doing everything out at West Bronx Park. They do all kinds of hotels and stuff there. They've got a really good system.
Good service.
Yep.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
All in favor?
You need individual ones?
Yep.
Okay. Roll call again.
Brandon Carrico,
Aye.
Danny Clark,
Aye.
Dana Strange,
Yes.
Mark McAtee, Mayor Brian Ayder.
Who seconded that again? Brandon?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. And then we got some policies for the new pavilion, area, green space, or whatever we're gonna call it.
We do, have an ordinance here ready to go that'll need to be passed by the council. That, I can read it now or wait.
We'll do it at the council, but bring it up. The one thing where we're going with this is it's gonna be nothing but pedestrian traffic. No golf carts or anything like that, just to kind of bring it up. And then also, if the pavilion is being used, we're gonna get some signs made. You can't put tape on it or anywhere like that. If you're gonna hang something up, it's gotta be used with magnets. Because put tape on there, it's gonna get stuck, you're gonna scrape it off, you're gonna scrape the paint off, everything like that, so. We wanna try to preserve what we have down there for the city, and ask everybody to be conscious of that, and, so we have a nice facility down there. We'll bring that up, okay?
Can things be tied?
We don't want anything being tied around there, but it's just gonna be, still do some type of wear if the wind's blowing or something like that. You may not notice it right away, but if you keep doing the same places, it's gonna show. So, Summerfest street closures. I know they were brought forward here a while back or something, we didn't do the actual sign off on it.
So do we know what streets are being requested?
Yeah. We did. mark down for a second here. Okay. We have Railroad Street, which is behind KFC. You have, going up the triangle on North Line Street up into, not William Street, that's Wood Street there, where, Edward Jones is at. And you got North Line over to Northeast Second Street. And you have East Main from 231 over to Northeast Second Street. And then also Church Street will be closed from First Street over to Northwest First Street. So that's, then the other, Chief, when they do the fireworks, what area do you guys on Saturday close off?
Over by Greenwell's, usually the, street on this side of the tracks and the, I can't remember the street names, and the one to
Well, you
the,
got Railroad Street there, then you got West Main Street,
you know,
and then Church Street.
just around that area, I mean. Just those two streets really we close and then we block off the parking lot area, back around that, gravel lot.
Okay, then also the, with one square right there in front of your office, that will be closed off too. Over to North Line Street. I think that covers all of it. Now First Street will be closed off from Church Street up to, North Street. Because North Street will be closed to Second Street. And really on the one from west, on Church Street on this side of the road, it's gonna be closed. They have a car show over there on Saturday. So it may not be it's not gonna be a full closure for the whole 3 days. They're not over there.
That's not Joe Wynn's.
Yeah, they're gonna have a car show there, with, out in the road there with along the CSX property, I believe it was gonna be at. So then you'd have to also, if you look at closing off, potentially, I don't know where I'm at here, I lost my. It's Northwest First Street there, may be impacted on that, the car show, I don't foresee it, but we can do Northwest First Street, basically, be closed off from the railroad tracks, to this other side of Church Street there. And we can take that down to American Legion Avenue, that'd be on the other side of Toys Auto Parts. So,
We usually take up that whole corner when we do the NAPA car show. So down to American Legion Avenue, so I think you might need to have that.
Used to be a
and that's just
nail.
on that Saturday.
Yeah.
They used to close it from Midwest Engineers, come down and close the street from Greenwells, all the way to the highway.
So that would be the street closures there.
Yeah, and then like it used to be an alley closed off,
Yeah.
is that right?
Yeah, that'd be Church Street and
Yeah, that's what.
Northwest First
That's what they
Street.
used to close down.
So we get a motion to close all those streets.
Okay, before we do that, and do we have a layout, so the music and everything's gonna be centered on the green space area, right?
Yep.
And then do we have a layout of where the vendors are gonna be?
Yeah, the Summerfest committee has all that.
Okay, they presented that to us, okay.
Yeah, we had a meeting with the Summerfest committee here a couple of weeks ago, was going over all that stuff, so yeah, I've seen everything on that.
And we're anticipating it to be pretty much the same size as it was last year, maybe a slight growth.
It's not, yeah, it's not bigger. It's getting bigger every year, but,
And we've got amusement rides,
yep, all the rides will be up around the square, around the fountain, back on North Street. I believe they're, in front of the KFC, and the vendors will be in the same areas that were pretty well last year too. There might be a few changes on that, so yes. The only really difference is we're closing the street on the west side there, the L, and then we're moving all the entertainment down to the new area. So,
We're just kind of making the main stage down the new area.
yes.
So we're swapping that in the fair ride stuff.
Yes,
Okay.
it's gonna be a learning experience for everybody this time, so yes. So the other thing we're doing as a safety precaution is, since the rides are gonna be up on the square and those streets, we're literally gonna have concrete barricades, like you see on the highways, that we're gonna be getting those in here, setting them up. Make sure, even though we have cones and other stuff, but make sure we, hopefully, you don't have any crazy when they come through and try to drive through, we're gonna make. So, that will be on the highway, on the south side of the fountain, or by your place, also on the Y coming up, it's gonna be over there, where the, Edward Jones is at. I think we're gonna have 10 barricades out, and just five places we're gonna have that type of shutdown.
alright, and none of the department heads have any issues with.
Nope. Nothing at all. So, with that being said, so I wanna make a motion for that.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Need my name again?
Yep.
Brandon Carrico,
Aye.
Andy Clark,
Aye.
Dana Strain,
Yes.
Mark McAtee, Mayor Brian Ader.
Aye. Yes. We can hear you. All right. They can hear you. Okay. Next item is street department position. We all know Bo's retiring. Bo's been doing the wastewater, water, street department, pool, everything. And back in the day, we used to have a wastewater head, street department head, and a water department head. And, we've been looking into this, and we've got a person that, like to put in that position. And it's gotta be created first, again.
Are they coming pre-certified?
There's nothing on the certified on the street department, it's just bringing someone up from the den.
That would be nice.
Yeah, but, Bo's had a lot on his calendar, and on his, for the last, I don't know how many years, and believe me, it's more than what one person can do. And he's managed, but it's, well, most people don't know, but he's in there at 5:30, sometimes even later. Sometimes he gets out, and he's in here all the time, a lot more than he should do. So I'd like to create a street department head position. Like I said, back in the day, you had Donnie Grindstaff as the street and pool, and you had, Bernie Williams as the wastewater and Bo as water. So, and with the street department, they still go out and help with the water and sewer and stuff like that. I mean, it's not just that area, but they'll be in control of that, and also the pool and the park and stuff like that, so. Instead of having one person doing everything, or try to delegate, we get a couple people to do that, so.
So you need a motion to create the new position?
Yes, then we gotta go to the council to fund the position, which it's within, so it's really not that big, much different.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second it.
All in favor? All in favor?
Aye.
Brandon Carrico,
Aye.
Danny Clark,
Aye.
Dana Strange,
Yes.
Mark McAtee. Mayor Brian Nader.
All right, take that to the council. Public input, speeding on streets, Mr. Don Green.
Yeah. You want me to stand or just sit? Okay. As you know, I've lived out on Bloomfield Road for 33 years now in the same spot. And I've had issues out there all the way back to Bill Parker when he was mayor. And I've come to city council year after year. This year, it seems to be getting a lot worse out there. I talked to the chief about the semis coming over the hill. My driveway, you cannot see over the hill going towards St. John Cemetery. We have to look at the hill next to the cemetery and wait a few seconds and then back out. Yesterday, we about got hit again.
Why do we have semis on that road?
There's grain trucks out there. They were hauling liquids out there. There's tri-axles that go out that way.
Is it mostly agricultural then?
Yeah, pretty well. But it's not them. I mean,
It's everybody.
a semi coming over the hill at 40 miles an hour, my neighbor pulls out. There's no way they're gonna stop that truck. And like I said, I've talked to John about it. I think he even talked to one of the business people that run that. But we have cars, trucks, average speeds is probably 40 miles an hour, and it's a 20. I can't see my neighbor across the street, Cody Smith, which I was hoping he'd be here tonight. He can't see the other side of the hill.
Oh, they can't see coming from the other side.
Exactly. We got to slow these vehicles down. I mean, I've talked to John, I said, you know, verbal one, and when Jim Floyd was a police officer, maybe he was the chief then too, he was out there pulling people over, verbal. And written, the third time, you're getting a ticket. We got these apartment buildings coming in next year. That's just gonna create more problems on that road. So we got to find
And
some way.
we have been talking about that, and I have said, hey, we need to be patrolling this just like out at the school, and we do have those radar signs that we're gonna get up. And we've not done it yet, for the simple fact that we have so many other issues coming up with our infrastructure.
But safety's not number one priority.
It is a priority, but when you
Yeah.
got a street caving in and stuff like that.
Yeah, we got that all over town. But it's just not Bloomfield Road. It's all over town. I walk every morning, every evening. People are flying everywhere. They're blowing stop signs left and right. I mean, they don't even know what a stop sign is. So we might as well just stick up yield signs all over town. It's that bad. And you could ask a lot of people. They'll tell you the same thing. It's ridiculous. Why are we not, 2 months ago, we had 5 citations? We should have 5 citations in an hour. That's no lie. I mean, if we put somebody to start slowing these people down, then maybe it'll get better. Until then, it's not gonna get any better. So, I mean, it's getting pretty serious out there on Bluefield Road. 'Cause like I said, it's the only place that has a hill, you can't see both sides. The rest of the place, yeah, you can see what's coming. And luckily, we haven't had an accident. We've come close a lot. But we do need to get it taken care of. And we do have, I've got a couple of neighbors here, they had issues too.
Yes, sir.
I'm Tom, I live right across the street from John. And he's right on spot on all of it, but one of the main culprits is those grain trucks. And the way they going south, the way they come over that hill, God forbid, if any little kid across the street, or adult, it's all over. And they come through, they're like, speed limit doesn't even apply to them. So, it's pretty tough.
John?
So we have a group chat with all of our officers, full, part-time, and reserve, and we've told them, time and time again to keep an eye out because I know it's an issue. I've been down it myself. I live on 550. I see the issue the exact same as you guys do. We try and do what we can. We can't be everywhere at once. We're trying to figure out the hot spots on when they're coming down these roads, speeding and things like that. And we need your guys' help too. Let us know if it's 5:30 in the morning, if it's 2 in the afternoon, so we kind of know a rough idea of when we can be where we need to be, so we can position ourselves.
I was out there 5:30 this morning, flying over the hill.
Exactly. So,
I
you
mean,
know,
dark,
and that's
dark time,
you know, that's
they're
something
usually
that I
pretty.
can't necessarily take care of.
But it's
because
all
I don't
day-
come in
it's all
until
day
later, but
long.
it's something that like
Yeah.
our officer Ross could take care of whenever
Yeah.
he's on night shift coming in. He's out that late. You know what
Like I
I mean?
said, it's
So-
all day long, and it's all over town.
6 to 6.
Yeah, it's. I mean,
Pretty well.
But we do appreciate what you have done.
yeah, and like I said, you guys just gotta let us know, and then we can
I do.
focus our attention, you know, where we need to on those specific time frames.
So do we have an officer on at 5:30 in the morning?
As it depends on the night as of right now, but we've got another officer in training. As soon as he gets out, we'll have full night coverage that's out every night at 5:30 in the morning. So we just got to get him trained on. It'll be about another week before he gets on.
Thank you, Don. Utility adjustments. It's got two different utility adjustments. One's for filling pools and the other one's actual adjustments. Get a motion to approve the utility adjustments as presented.
I'll make a motion.
Second,
I second.
all in favor?
Brandon Carrico,
Aye.
Andy Clark,
Aye.
Dana Strange, Mark McAtee, Mayor Rader.
Aye. Department heads, well, before we get into that, I want to say, got something here. Been meeting and talking with the school corporation on the SRO officer we have here at the city, which is Kelly Rayhill. He's been up there for several years now. And he's been wanting to retire, and he hasn't been able to retire because he's still on the city's payroll as an officer. So, the school, we've sat down and talked, they've got everything worked out with Kelly, on how they're gonna pay and take care of everything. So Kelly is gonna be retiring from us, so he can draw his unemployment, not unemployment, his retirement. He may try to get unemployment too, I don't know. But anyway, he's gonna get his retirement, so the city is still going to have him listed as a reserve. So he can do some stuff like that, keep the training and everything going. So with that being said, the school's gonna be paying for everything on that side on the SRO, so that's actually freeing money up here now to where we get that other officer that we can actually get the full benefit of it instead of just 2 months, we get it for 12 months now. So it's a win-win for everybody on that. We'll get everything's supposed to take place by the end of July 31st, if not sooner. So we're getting everything worked out on that. So at that point, we're gonna have to come back and make it like the car that he currently has, it's got the wrap for the SRR, give it to the school for $1. It's not gonna hurt anything on that. It's one of the oldest cars, if not the oldest car. Is that correct, John?
It is the oldest car.
Yeah. So, that's something we'll have to eventually take action on, that we're gonna let the school have that for $1. Originally, I told them 20,000, but I just,
Now it's 20,001.
yeah, no. So, it's a give and take to get stuff done on everything, so, we wanna put that out there on that information.
Is that why we're looking for access to their cameras now?
No, they had it, before up here, and I don't know what,
Might have changed it.
yeah, they went with someone else, I think, up there or something, I'm not 100% sure, but we didn't have access to it.
As reservist, he still has all legal authority he had
Yep.
before.
Yep, still,
As long as he stays current on the certifications.
the other thing, I also want to, thank Martin County Rural Development Commission on their donation there, for the sand, for the park out there for the volleyball court. Had a meeting the other day, it's almost 15 grand, so they agreed to do 50%. So we appreciate them for doing that. And I think at this point, that's where we're at on everything. Now we'll do department reports quickly.
Quickly, let's be real quick. I apologize, I didn't have all my figures up, but I will have it doubled next month.
That was very quick.
Apologize for that.
When are we sitting down to do the budget stuff in June?
17.
17? I probably knew that, didn't I? I knew that?
Just wanna hear you tell them.
I'm sure you'll hear me again.
As a department, we had 81 calls for service, which sounds a lot less because we're having issues trying to get accurate pass downs from the sheriff's office. 81 of those activities, we had 7 cases or 7 investigations done from it. We wrote 5 citations and we had no arrests this month.
22 notifications for ordinance violations, trash, and issued 8 building permits.
Anything special on the building permits?
No, a lot of it was from previous storm damage. That they changed the fiscal blueprint, then impose a fee charge.
Got one other thing, we got a change order on the pavilion project down there, just for, on the time. Substantial completion last week, which they met that, so, we do need to take and get a vote on this, that, we agreed to that, so, with the weather and everything, it's really,
Well, they gotta do that down there.
they poured their last concrete today, they gotta get the handicap, stuff in those 2 areas, and then the sod, then the fence, I think tomorrow, the chain link fence is supposed to be going up tomorrow or Wednesday, so.
And they've got a little bit of asphalt left
Yeah,
to do
yeah.
around the curves.
Yeah, they've cut the asphalt 5 or 6 feet. In the center, all that's gotta be dug out and then re-asphalted.
So the south side there was, still got grass to be sod.
Yep. And re-sod that still is. So we're right there. I think by Friday, weather permit, everything's supposed to be done.
We're missing something.
So, I'd like to get a motion to approve this one.
You want us to pay for the change order? Is that what you're looking for?
There's no paying for this, it's just, you know, just that we acknowledge that we gave them the extension on time on that due to weather, so. Authorize me to do that, so you guys
I'll make a motion for that.
I'll second. All in favor?
Aye.
Brandon Garrico,
Aye.
Andy Clark,
Aye.
Dana Strange, Mark McAtee, Mayor Brian Ader.
Aye. Without further ado, motion to adjourn.
Make a motion.
Second.
Oh, wait. Yes, Mark. Well, that's good. Thank you, Mark. I will ask for a motion to adjourn.
Make a motion.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Brandon Garrico,
Aye.
Andy Clark,
Aye.
Dana Strange,
Nay. Yes.
Mark McAtee,
He said aye.
Mayor Brian Ader.
Aye. Okay. Just think we get to do this next meeting too.
Let's not make a lot of motions.
Okay. All right. Everybody make sure before you go to sign the minutes. Well, it goes to, they may take.
I'll talk to Amber more about tomorrow.
So the last one gets first.
Okay, I've seen you guys go in.
Six performers.
That makes sense. Like, it was up for sale for a little bit. Yeah, absolutely.
So we're gonna do one.
I figured by Wednesday I should have learned how to
After that, we're gonna do
Go ahead and call the meeting to order. Stand with pledge. Pledge allegiance to the flag.
United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call.
Mayor Brian Nader,
Present.
Mike Engelman, Carol Ray Hill, Mark McAtee,
He said present.
Jeremy Holland,
Here.
Dave Smith,
Here.
Attorney Stephen Titterball,
Present.
Clerk Treasurer Lori Carrigan, present.
Get approval for last month's minutes, the meeting previously. Make the motion.
I'll second.
All in favor?
This is gonna be fun. Mike Engelman, Carol Ray Hill, Dave Smith,
Aye.
Jerry Holland,
Aye.
Mark McAtee,
Okay. Get a motion to approve the claims and allowances as presented.
Before we do that, I've looked at this several times, talked about this. Some of these claims, and like under the mayor's, for example, it says 40,000 some odd dollars. Now, we all know the mayor's not making
Is it
$40,000,
salary?
but yeah. this has gone on long enough. Can we get that fixed where it's, I don't know if it's a software issue, I'm tired of excuses, software issue, whatever. We need to get it fixed.
I'll find out what I can do, but I've asked them before. I
Yeah.
mean, it's only
If the
gonna,
company we got can't do it, we
it's
need to get
gonna
somebody
show,
else.
it's only gonna show one, what they keep telling me, it's only gonna show one. So, it's gonna show mayor, it's gonna show treasurer, it's gonna show one, it only lists one of the many people we pay in that salary.
Right, it's very misleading. I've had people ask me about it,
And
and,
that's what, I mean,
you know, I'm sure you'd like to make 40,000 every 2 weeks.
that's, I mean, that's our entire payroll for that
Right.
2 weeks.
I
So
just
that's what I
can't believe in
mean.
this day and age that can't be fixed.
I can,
And I'm not blaming you.
I can find out if there's a secondary report that I haven't found it yet,
Mhm.
that would,
I find it
Could be
interesting, it's all coming up now after it's been like this for
Right.
umpteen years.
I mean,
Well,
I've been, like I said, I've been questioned on it too.
Right.
But you know, I'll reach out again to Keystone and find out what they suggest I can do,
Yeah.
to make it, I don't, I mean, I can go into each individual one and
Right.
print out, but that's a lot of individual reporting. So, but I can talk to Keystone and see if there's something.
I'm just surprised we don't get called out on it at the end of the
It
year.
would be nice to make 40,000 every 2 weeks,
Yeah.
but I don't.
I know.
I mean, 'cause that's, if you don't look at it.
And that's not the only one,
It
there's
shows
others.
no other employees, so
Right.
if you just look at that, you would see that
Yeah.
I'm working for free, which I'm not,
Right. No, I understand.
you know.
Yeah. We also have some, and we met last week, we also have some accounts that look like they're in a negative balance.
Mhm.
We need to get that fixed as well, so that's not an issue.
You know, we're
So just
working,
little things we just gotta get done, in my opinion. I appreciate it.
we're working on it.
Thank you. Make a motion to approve the claims and allowances.
I'll make the motion.
Got a motion by Carol,
I second.
second by Buck, Jeremy. All in favor?
Aye.
Mike Engelmann.
Aye.
Carol Ray Hill.
Aye.
Dave Smith.
Aye.
Jeremy Holland.
Aye.
Mark McAtee.
Okay, thank you. The SCADA, excuse me, be held off for next month. Before they come back. Fire department on the SCBA's, Board of Works did move forward to let the council figure out how you wanna pay for that. I know you had a pay scale whenever,
Yeah, we gave a presentation last month with our banking partner, Republic First, and then I think you guys mentioned too, there were maybe some funds. Either way, that's up to you. One thing I did want to, I talked to Chief about, when we do release these and ship them, they're gonna come on probably 3 pallets. Do you guys have a forklift or anywhere that you'd like us to drop ship these?
yeah, we got full capability. Yes. We do have that. I would make a recommendation, instead of taking all the money out of one fund and paying straight ahead, as you stretch it out over the years, it's not costing you anything on that per se to really do that. You're not tying up any monies that you might be able to use somewhere else. But you guys can decide how you wanna do that.
And there's 3 options to repay, wasn't there?
Do what, 5, 7,
Yeah.
3, 5, 7, I can't remember.
3, 5, and 7, yes.
And what was the final number on that again?
The lowest.
Final number was
249
249,909.
and
And 73.
7 cents.
And the option was 58,492 each year for 5 years.
Was that much?
That's right.
Okay,
50,000.
250, yeah.
yeah.
50,014 for 6, or 43,973 for 7. That sound right? I'm just a believer, try to pay as much as you can as you go. And, you know, why pay more interest if we don't have, if we don't have the funds anyplace else, and I don't think we have all of it, obviously. But my view, try to save interest if we can. I don't know what the rest of these guys think, but. I mean, obviously, we need the equipment, we have to get the equipment, we all agree to that, it's just how we're gonna pay for it.
So if we did the 5 year, what fund would we use to pay?
You're right. What we get every month.
What is it now, about 50,000 a month, Lord?
You need to edit?
Lit.
Edit lit, I mean, or public safety?
Public safety,
Public safety,
about 10, isn't it?
I think.
10 a month.
That overall lit about 50,000 a month that you're getting,
Edit is about 50,000.
50. I'm okay going with the 5 years, so the upfront interest. This,
And it can be paid off early. I think she said if you want to, you can pay off early with no
yes, no
penalties.
So we do it for 5 years, we're looking at $290,000 roughly, is that right?
which was over 347.
$292,460.
So it'll be 42,000, roughly 42,000 in interest.
Yep, and I think the rate on that, when we last talked to Stephanie last month was 5.47 on that 5 year.
Right.
Well, I'll make the motion to go 5 years on it.
Motion
That without putting anything down, or just straight up?
Do we have the money to use as an upfront payment? Or some sort?
In lit public safety, there is 300,000 right now. So, I mean, you could use a part of that. And that would be something you could spend that money on.
I don't know if there's a down payment, but I'm sure it would help, but I know Stephanie told me that there's not a prepayment penalty until after the first year. So you'd have that 4 years to avoid those extra insurances if you wanted to pay that off after year 1. No, it's a deferred payment until whenever we're signed a year out on a deferred payment.
We won't pay anything for a year, gives us a chance to look at it. Yeah.
Okay, with that goes.
I'm okay as long as we actually sit down and look at it, don't just talk about it, and try to find a way to do that. I think I'm all for saving as much as we can. But if we got a year to, surely within a year, we can do it.
So Mike's got a motion on for a 5 year.
I'll make it second.
Second by Beth, all in favor?
Mike Engelmann.
Aye.
Al Hill.
Here.
Dave Smith.
Aye.
Terry Holland.
Aye.
Mark McAtee.
You already heard about the high grass. What we're looking at doing GPS for the vehicles, all vehicles, not just police.
I just want to say on the high grass, I've called Justin 5 or 6 times, and he's done, I think he's doing a pretty good job. He's doing the very best he can. 5 out of the 6 properties I called him about have been taken care of, so I know it's a long process, but I think you did a good job.
Appreciate it. And like I said, if we can get the procedure changed a little bit, I think it could be much better. So, thank you.
He spends a lot of time on it,
Yes, you did.
a lot of time.
I didn't mean to call you on vacation either.
That's fine. That's fine.
Next was the upgraded cameras at for everything. Wanted to get the council's approval to spend the funds to do that.
That comes out of what?
That could come out of the, public safety. That stuff, the lower editors.
Is there, just the one bid, or just the one?
Just the one, yes. And I've checked them out very, very thoroughly. That's the reason why I only got the one, because of what they do and where they go at, and who they put installs for. They, you know, West Falls, you got the whole city of Washington, all kinds of hotels, motels and stuff like that. So, I mean, it's very, very reputable, company.
But you didn't look at no bid?
I checked it out on service and everything with, how the service is, and it's impeccable.
Who locally does? Anyone locally do this, or? To this degree?
Not that I'm aware of, no.
Do we not have to have two bids? Why are we not getting extra bids on a lot of these projects that we're doing? Seems like we're only getting one bid and we're happy with it.
Cut off $75,000. If it's over a certain amount, you have to get two bids. If it's under a certain amount, you don't have to.
I always thought you
And
had to have two bids.
You know, trying to find people to do this and does it, you know. And you go with the people that's using in the area, and you find out what's going on, how it's going on, and there's no issues whatsoever. You know, if you call them up, it takes care of it.
So who's the one putting the bid in?
It's New Vision Communications out of Washington.
I know there was a company in Evansville that have used it in the past.
So, I mean, you can say it's local, so if you got a problem, it's gonna be right there, you know, 15, 20 minutes away.
50,000 is the cutoff.
That's what I was thinking.
So,
Plus, I have a hard time getting people to come up to Evansville for some reason, just to give bids and stuff. They act like we're way out here.
we are.
When do you want to start this?
I'm sorry.
When do you want to do this?
It needs to be done as soon as possible. Especially with as many people that are using the park and stuff like that. We've got a couple areas out there, and this is gonna get a lot better. The cameras we have now and everything's 8, 9 years old. So from a technology standpoint, I mean, you're gonna have cameras that are a lot more clear. You're gonna be able to see things. And there's a lot of other, features that you can do, with the cameras and stuff like that. I mean, if you got a child that goes up missing, you can backtrack that in, you can take that picture of that child, and you put on, it will literally search every single camera to see what that, what may have happened to that, or a person, doesn't matter if it's just a child, but anybody, so it's got a lot of capabilities. It's got I think it's got facial recognition, there's a lot of different things there. You can actually, if you choose to do it, you could actually take and put in, if there's any offenders in the area, you can actually it's got the capability of putting all that in, so if something shows up, you've got that to go with too. Choose to do that. Yes, we need a motion. Yes, sir. Okay, Mark makes a motion. Second?
I'll second.
Second by Mike, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, Lord.
Aye.
Aye.
Mike Engelmann.
Aye.
Carol Ray Hill.
Aye.
Dave Smith.
Aye.
Jeremy Holland.
Aye.
Mark McAtee.
The Sullivan development's gonna come, next month, this month. They sent me a message yesterday on that, so. Next item is the pay application and change order for Country Court 5. You all have a copy of that. Joe, do you want to explain any of that?
So, yeah, pay application number 9 is, what the contractor is submitting. Pretty much reports from last month. It was 99. Can't remember off the top of my head what it was.
725.77.
Just looking at the pay app, they're about, I'd say 60% of the way through the project. And kind of going off of the change order, they're not asking for a request to increase the price, they're just looking for a change in the contract times. Just due to, they got a delay in the start, I think it was like 2.5 weeks maybe. From IDEM, just getting approval for their permit. They're requesting an extra 30 days, just due to weather delays.
They're still accessing that area from the country court area, correct?
Yes.
I was given information that they were still using some of the other streets.
I think they, if I'm not mistaken, maybe Byron Street a few times. Further
I've
north.
got a video where it shows them coming out. So, yeah, we was up there today looking at things, and we talked about that, and I said, well, I said, it's the rock company or contractor that's, they're going in and they're coming out, and I said, it's gotta stop. So, otherwise, we're gonna go back and say, hey, you guys wanna pay for streets? Now, we do have on Garrett, we do have an issue there that we're looking at. When they tied in the sewer to the sewer system there, it had come all the way up in front of Crane's property, and then the next house up, I can't remember who lives there. When they were digging that out, trying to get their shoring in, the road just kept caving in. So it's literally, that whole area from that manhole back to the end of the road on the west side is gonna have to be all taken out and fixed. There's a strip about 5 feet on the east side that's still good. But other than that, everything's got to be replaced. We don't know how or who's gonna pay for that yet, because that was, it just started falling in when they started doing all the trenching. So,
Seems like it'd be on them.
probably about 100 feet maybe. Somewhere there, so what this is about though is just giving them from a July 14th original substantial completion, going to August 13th.
I'll make the motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Mike Engelmann.
Aye.
Carol Ray Hill.
Aye.
Dave Smith.
Aye.
Jerry Holland.
Aye.
Mark McAtee.
Okay. Okay, Next item is the Little League donation. They've requested that if the city would donate another $5,000, so get everything up there. So I said I'd bring it forward to the council and ask. We're trying to get everything handicapped, accessible for everybody up there and around there, because there's nothing but gravel now and everything. So they've raised a lot of money on their own, and they raised more than what they were looking at, to be honest, but they can only get just over 2/3 of what they have, so they've asked us for another 5, and then they've got the other outside sources there, so it's for our kids, it's for the community.
Once they get this going and they have their baseball tournaments and softball tournaments, it'll be a huge economic
Exactly.
boost to our restaurants and gas stations. And as you said, it's for our kids in the community, so.
And they host quite a few tournaments up there in the summertime. And
Yeah, those things are huge.
yeah,
I'll make that motion.
okay, Carol? Mark second. All in favor?
Mike Engelmann.
Aye.
Carol Raheel.
Aye.
Dave Smith.
Aye.
Doug Holland. Debbie Holly. Mark McAtee.
She can. Well, I turned the volume down because you had a lot of back static and stuff like that, so she can hear you. Okay. And we heard on the speeding on the streets from Don, appreciate that. And the other thing here is, with the new street department position, I'd like to get someone into that. Gonna wanna bring someone up within, I've talked to this individual, we've had some talks and stuff, talked with Bo, Daniel, because they're within the, management side of things here, so, I asked Hannah Harshaw if she would be open to it, and she said yes. So, I think, I gotta remember what it is right now. It's public knowledge what they make, so it's not that, but the only thing we'd be really looking at would be what the difference would be from her current pay, probably a $4,000 or $5,000 difference that she's gonna take on that responsibility and everything like that. So, and we can get the exact numbers on that, figure out where we're at, get what we got, you know.
I thought the street department position was a line item in the budget, that was just not money for it.
You have to still recreate it.
If it's a line item.
So we never had any funds on that.
We didn't have any funds. And I don't know if it was on the budget, and then it was taken off the budget last year. So I don't know if it actually did get put back on the budget.
I thought it was still on.
Okay, I can double check.
It's okay.
I know there was no funding for it for sure. Because they took that away.
So with Bo retiring, Daniel's gonna step up in his position, I'm gonna put him up in that position, and, Bo's still gonna be around, and that's another thing we gotta discuss is, he's the only one that's got the licensing, still gotta be a consultant, so we'll have to come up, what type of compensation, to have his signing off and knowledge, he wants to work 2 or 3 days a week still. So, he wants to see some things through and make sure we're covering everything.
I think that'll be an item for discussion at the budget meeting.
Yep.
So basically, you just promote from within, and it'll be an additional X amount of dollars at the current salary. Do you know what that recommendation is?
I gotta go back on, I think it's gonna be around $5 grand, $4 to $5 grand. And that would put you in line with where it ought to be, with responsibility and stuff like that. I'm on low battery, we're gonna lose him in a minute. So if we can get a motion to create that position and then we discuss the overall pay in the budget meetings.
Make the motion.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Mark said aye.
Mike Engelmann.
Aye.
Karen Ray,
Aye.
Dave Smith,
Aye.
Jerry Holland,
Aye.
Mark McAtee.
Okay. Anybody have anything else they'd like to bring up?
Yeah, invite the community to the ribbon cutting down on the pavilion, when is that?
It's gonna be, June 7th, no, wait, 19th,
Yeah.
4:30.
Like the previous mayor and previous city
Yeah,
council.
I'd like to see us reach out, they're gonna get it, okay.
Yep.
There should be a lot
There'll
of.
be an invite there.
That's what I was gonna ask.
Be the 19th at 4:30. That Thursday night.
4:30?
Yes. Festivals kick off at 5, so want to do it all prior to everything like that, so. We thought about having a different time and stuff like that before, but with the delay, and I'm like, well, if we're gonna do it this week or next week, you know, you gotta try to get entertainment or something down there this way, then you already got the entertainment, so we don't have to worry about that, you got the festival and everything, so it makes more sense to have it on that Thursday, the 19th.
I was out at the pool last week, maybe this is the park board or whatever, but there's gonna have to eventually be some work done in that pool house. It's not very good. And the pool itself is excellent, everything was good, it's just the pool house itself. We're gonna have to look at that in the future.
The pool house, last time the pool house was renovated was the first time I was in office.
The bathrooms were done 2 years ago, 3 years ago. Foundation paid for
I
that.
mean, the overall, cause
Well,
Yeah, both bathrooms, new stalls,
and
new
I didn't see
stools.
him before.
Well, just the walls are just,
Yeah.
oh,
that was built in 1958.
Oh, yeah.
So it's an old facility, you know, in there, but, yeah.
One last thing for me, we met up at the Slade Ball property, and then been taken care
That
of.
is gonna be taken care of this week, yes. And so, all the rain and everything,
Speaking of the pool, that you had mentioned a shelter house or something between the,
yeah.
you'd be better off spending that money on the pool house. Plus, the pergola is not there anymore. What happened to the pergola?
The wind damaged it.
Do we not have
Storms.
insurance to fix it?
There's stuff there, but the way it was put in and everything, we made a decision, talk with Boeing, not to put it back in.
What was that?
Insurance to cover it, but whatever.
The pergola up there, just a white floor.
Pergola that the park board paid for that was on that little area. Okay.
Brian, please. One of the rules you said on the pavilion, no, just walking pedestrian traffic on the green. What about, say, a large inflatable bounce house or something like that?
Mm.
That's only gonna be up for a few hours. It's not gonna, a few hours isn't gonna kill it.
Like 2 hours would be like maybe all day? 2 hours all
We
day?
set them up in yard, well, I used to set them up in yards all the time,
Right.
all day long, sometimes it'd be 2 days, and it doesn't really affect much on it,
Okay,
shouldn't have any issues.
okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. That's for motion to adjourn, if there's nothing else.
I'll make that motion.
Better read ordinances.
Oh, I'm sorry, got 2 ordinances, I'm sorry, thank you.
I'll be quick. This is an ordinance to prohibit feeding of animals on city property. The feeding of animals shall be prohibited on city property. Any person violating this offense for the first time shall be fined $100. The second offense shall be a fine of $200, and third and subsequent offenses shall be a fine of $500.
Need a motion to approve that.
I'll make the motion.
A motion by Jeremy. Second?
Second.
And second, all in favor?
Aye.
Mike Engelmann,
Aye.
Karen Ray, Dave Smith,
Aye.
Jerry Holland,
Aye.
Mark McAtee.
He said aye.
Next ordinance to prohibit motorized vehicles upon the green space area. Any and all motorized vehicles of any kind shall be prohibited upon the green space area between Church Street, Highway 231, and North and First Street.
Motion to,
Who made the motion?
a motion by Mike,
Second.
second by Carol, all in favor?
Mike Engelmann. Carol Radio.
Aye.
Dave Smith. Jeremy Holland.
Aye.
Mark McAdoo.
You abstain? He abstains. Anything else?
One more thing, to be clear on the first ordinance, ordinance about feeding animals on city property, does that include feeding birds?
Yeah, it would be any animal of any kind.
Okay, and that takes effect when?
That would now take, this would be now the second reading. So this would take place here immediately.
Okay, all right. What about over the top of city property? It's not on property, it's over the top of city. I'm
A
saying
bird
a
feeder.
hanging bird feeder.
The bird feeder's not gonna be on city property.
It's gonna be hanging over city property, I think is what you're saying.
I'm asking if that would
That,
interfere
that,
with your
in
ordinance.
that particular scenario, if the bird feeder's not actually on city property, then no, I do not see that being a violation of the ordinance.
All right, thank you.
I think it's also try to keep from creating a nuisance, right? I'll just use the recycle center as a nuisance, not that it is, but all the cats out there that people feed. Not that that's city property, but that's not personal property either, so that's what they're trying to do. They're trying to keep from having a nuisance with
Well, our
people feeding
problem,
animals,
is out the city park, you know, putting cat food underneath. And I've got pictures of, you know, and we go out there every day and we're picking it up and throwing it away. And the problem is the birds are roosting inside there and they're crapping all over the picnic tables, and it's a health and safety issue. I mean, you get a kid that goes out there, no parents or something like that, to climb all over that, lick their face or something like that, and lick their mouth, you know, they get really, really sick.
One other thing, on the last ordinance, on the motorized.
Yeah.
I mean, what about somebody that's in an ADA with a?
Well, ADA, that's
Scooter?
that's different.
Okay.
They're not gonna be running around out in the grass, they'll be on the sidewalk. Should be. So, yeah. You can't,
We could clarify that just.
we can amend it next month and clarify it, so that's a good point.
Yeah.
Okay. We want to entertain a motion to adjourn, unless there's something else.
I'll make that motion.
Okay, Bill got the motion?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Mike Engelmann. Carol Radio.
Aye.
Dave Smith. Doug Holland. Mark McAdoo.
You got it. Mark, have a good evening.
I said,
Nine?
Yeah.